Hey everybody, welcome back to Terran's Books and Beyond and day 29 of VEDUS. Today let's begin with the second act of the Jedi Doth return. Now the biggest thing that happens in the second act is of course Luke finding out that Leia is his sister, and I really like the way that Desher handled this because he gives Luke an internal monologue, and I don't actually know if Desher was going for comedy in this, but I'm going to assume he did because I found it funny. Basically, the first thing Luke thinks is, oh no, we've kissed 3 times. And then he relates this entire play that involves Tusken Raiders that plays out the same way that Oedipus does, and he thinks of all the tragedy that came out of that, and then finally he pauses and he goes, you know what? No, I'm okay, because those 3 kisses were totally platonic. Leia's obviously with Han now. I have no interest in her. In conclusion, I totally dodged a bullet here. However, for me, the standout moments of this act were the monologues from the Emperor and Darth Vader. The Emperor gets his monologue first, and he basically talks about how great he is, and how foolish Vader is for thinking that he serves the Emperor as an equal, because Vader is basically his pet, his tool. He kowtows to everything the Emperor says, even if the Emperor is shitting on him. He's so loyal to the Emperor and the Empire that there's no way he would ever have any emotional attachment to his son. At most, that thing would help Vader draw Luke into the Empire, which is exactly what the Emperor wants. But then we get Vader's monologue, and it's slightly shorter, and the gist of it is basically, I don't know why I feel so strange about my son. Obviously, is Vader starting to realize maybe he still cares about Luke even if he never met him, and maybe he doesn't necessarily want Luke to become a slave to Palpatine, because he is slightly aware of the fact that he's basically Palpatine's dog. So once again, we're using these internal monologues and these expansions using the Shakespearean style to help build things up for the final confrontation so that we are much more emotionally invested in it when it comes around. Speaking of confrontations, today's certain point of view story is Time of Death by Cavan, and this one is from the perspective of Obi-Wan Kenobi right as he dies, so yeah, you probably guessed that from the title. It's basically his entire life flashing before his eyes as he becomes one with the Force, and he's going backwards and forwards in time. He sees himself training Anakin and being betrayed by Anakin. He sees himself seeing Luke from a distance and raising him. There's even an instance when the Lars homestead was attacked by raiders, and Obi-Wan came out of nowhere and helped defend them, and that kind of inspired Luke to help defend the homestead as well, which really pissed off Uncle Owen because he does not want Luke anywhere near the rebellion because he's so scared that he's either going to get himself killed or take way after Anakin and get himself killed. It's a really good look at all of Obi-Wan's emotions, basically from Revenge of the Sith all the way up until his death in A New Hope, and how he basically feels like he's failed Anakin and he might fail Luke because he's been held at arm's length from him his entire childhood and he doesn't know if he's ready to be a full Jedi. But it's so well done. I really enjoyed reading it. I give this one 5 out of 5 stars as well. So that concludes today's VEDUS update, and going forward there are only 10 days left after this. What new secrets shall be revealed by certain point of view? What new tragedies shall unfold with the conclusion of the original plays and then the beginning of the sequel plays? We'll just have to find out. So until tomorrow, I'll see you all later.